Today I'm going to make the um, Chef Glenn's salsa and bean rice from his recipes for adventure book. I do recommend if you're into dehydrating foods and stuff, give his book a try. I've tried several things from it and really really enjoyed what he's came up with. So I think I got my book at Amazon. You can get it also from his website. Backpacking Chef, I think, is his website. But anyhow, you remember me cooking this on the from my Teleco vacation earlier this year, and that I made a large batch for that trip. It turned out to be quite a bit, so I'm just going to make a regular sized batch for our upcoming trip to Big South Fork, and that I'm going to show you about. So what I need to do first is the recipe itself is going to call for half a cup of rice that has been cooked already and then dried back down. So I'm going to cook some rice. I like to use basmati. It doesn't have as much starch in it, so it's not as sticky of a type of rice. And I'm gonna cook that in some chicken water. I'm just using some chicken bouillon cubes to help flavor the rice a little bit, and it's going to supply some salt where I'm not much of a salt person. So what salts I get from the flavorings is pretty much all I'm going to get for salts in the meal. And it's also going to call for a salsa leather, which I've got some here, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and make some more. And I think I showed it to you with on the Teleco trip, but it's get it out of the bag here. It's really quite tough when you after you dry it down. And this here, there's plenty to do for this meal, but I want to make another batch and show you how I did it with this video. So it won't go to waste. Hunting season's coming up, and I'll probably make some several meals for myself to take out hunting too. So that it's not going to be a big deal. What I bought is some medium restaurant style salsa, and I'm going to put that in the blender and puree it down, get all the heavier pieces just down to a smooth, probably like a spaghetti sauce type of consistency. I probably could have went with the chunky, but I'm just going to puree it all up anyhow, so I went with the smaller pieces, restaurant style. And this is going to make more than I need for this recipe too. And then after that, everything else I've got is really stuff left over from when I made it the first time. So I used the full 15-ounce can of black beans and then just rinsed them off and dehydrated them. This is still what's left. I didn't use nearly as much to recreate that meal. And the same with some kidney beans, dried corn from another project, and a mixture of I just keep them little sweet peppers that you get in the store, the little multicolored ones, the reds, greens, yellows, and they're real small. I buy them quite a bit, and if I don't use them up right away, then so they don't go bad, I'll slice the rest of them up and dehydrate them. So I've almost always got, ooh, that smells good. I've almost always got dried peppers on hand. So anyhow, that's the bulk of what I've got already, and like I said, I need to make some rice and puree the salsa. So give me a couple minutes. I'm going to get that started and get the camera moved over into the kitchen. And once those ingredients get dehydrated down, then we'll just assemble it, and it'll be done. All right, so stand by. Okay, here we go. We got 2 cups of water, 1 Knorr chicken bouillon cube, and then 1 cup of basmati rice. So I'm going to go ahead and um, get the water boiling and add the rice, and then get that to cooking. And I'm gonna give me a minute, and I'm gonna get the blender set up to puree the salsa while we're waiting for the rice to cook, and then we'll just put it all on dehydrator all at once. Okay, so I'm just gonna get out of the way here. Just gonna go ahead and pour the salsa into the blender, and get it going. It's kind of a mess. But really, that's all there is to it. It's just blend it up real good. And we'll put that on the dehydrator when we do the rice. So okay, and our chicken bouillon water is boiling. So we'll add the rice to that. Stir it a little bit. And just kind of let that and I'm just gonna let that simmer till it's absorbed. Okay, so the rice is just about done. I've got it turned off, and I'm just letting it absorb the last little bit of liquid that there is. So we'll be putting that on in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way for a second. We'll do the salsa first. And what I've got here is just some little cookie baking sheets, a pan liner. They work pretty good on the dehydrator racks. But I'm gonna make sure I got the right end. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut a little hole in the middle for it. Probably way too big. Yeah, it was. That'll give me a place to, when we pour the salsa out, it'll just give me a mess-free or less messy environment. Alright, so there's that. I'll get the salsa. Pardon me. Okay. I've got a fairly small kitchen, so sorry. Alright, so we'll just pour this out onto the paper. Be right back. Apologize about the phone call. I hit a deer the other day with my car, so I'm expecting a phone call from the insurance company. just kind of had to answer it. But okay, so we'll kind of lightly spread this around. It's gonna take a long time to do anyhow, but if you get it kind of an even spread on it, it'll work a little bit better. Like I said, it's going to make a lot more than we need for the recipe. So you'll have some surplus for some other experimenting projects. Second batch, we'll have plenty. Okay, so put the second one on here. Do the same thing. That Chef Glenn's book is pretty interesting. He's experimented with quite a few things that you wouldn't think about, or at least I didn't think about doing. I've played with quite a few dehydrated ideas in my head and stuff, but I never really thought about taking canned foods and dehydrating them or anything. I've just done it old fresh ingredients type of thing. I've never thought about taking pre-cooked stuff and dehydrating them so you can rehydrate them later. So just I think that was a pretty neat idea of his. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the one for the rice down. Excuse me again. Now that 1 cup of raw rice is going to make about pretty close to 3 cups of cooked rice, and then when it dehydrates back down again, it'll make almost 2 cups of dried rice, and we're only going to need a half a cup of the dried rice for our meal. So we'll have plenty of other rice opportunities for some more experiments and other meals too out of this batch here. So. I may have to get another tray out. Looks like it. Now, while it's drying too, after it's been drying for a couple hours, I like to come back to it and break it up some more and re-crumble it up while it's not fully dried and stuck together yet. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. As you see, I still got some rice left that I have to do something with, but I've got to go back into the cabinet and get another drying tray and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started for now and finish putting the rest of this on the tray and add to it in just a few minutes. But so it's going to take several hours to do, probably in the neighborhood of 10 or so. So this will be the last see of me today, I'm sure. And I've got it set for 135 degrees. in the right way. And we'll just let that go. So, okay, take two. Hi, I'm back. It's been a couple days since we first dried the rice and the salsa. Not that it took a couple days to dry everything. It was really 9 hours, I believe, that it took to dry. I went ahead and packaged all that up. Here's the salsa and the salsa leather, and then all that rice re-dried. I got busy the day after and I couldn't get to it, and then I was going to do this yesterday, but there's some little minor things I needed that I didn't have, mostly Ziploc baggies. So let's go ahead and finish putting this together. It's only going to take a couple more minutes. For just the regular size meal, it's going to call for half a cup of the rice once it's been dried, and then everything else at that point is a quarter cup. I went ahead and sectioned everything else out yesterday before I realized I didn't have any of the sandwich bags. So I've got a quarter cup of the beans, and what I did was took half of a quarter cup, so an eighth of a cup of the black beans, and then an eighth of a cup of the kidney beans, and mix that together to equal the quarter cup of beans that Chef Glenn was asking for. I did the same with the mixed pepper medley and the dried corn. So I've got an eighth of a cup of each, the dried pepper medley, and an eighth of a cup of the dried corn. So now all I've got left to do is the half a cup of rice and a quarter cup of the salsa leather. And we're supposed to package the salsa leather because it can be sticky and draw a little bit of moisture. Okay, sorry about that. I've got give me a minute to collect my thoughts again. Yes, salsa. So he calls for 1/4 cup of the salsa leather tightly packed. So I've got quarter cup scooper, and what I'm just going to do, it cuts really well with scissors. It's easier than pulling it apart, but just going to cut these up into small pieces. It'll help too later on when you're rehydrating it. It'll dissolve maybe a little bit easier if the smaller pieces. But I'm just going to cut these up and put them in this. Crap! Put them in this little. Try that again. Just kind of press them down inside there. Trying to fill in the little empty holes and stuff. Like I was saying the other day too, that I've got some other things, projects in my head and stuff floating around that I can make some more things with this. I think it'll be pretty versatile. So maybe add it to some macaroni and cheese and stuff like that. So I just press that back down in there a little bit more, and yeah, big piece like this out of. Maybe one more big one, I think will do it. Yeah, I think that'll do. So, that's what I got. And I want you to pack it separately, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in this little snack size bag. And squish most of the air back out of it. Our trip's about 2 more weeks, so it's not going to have to sit long. Okay, so there's that. And while I'm in between, I'm going to go ahead and on the trail. So 1 1/4 cups of water. Make myself a little note for that. To add 1 1/4 cup water. Let's sit for 5 minutes. Cook until boiling. And let's set up for 10. Alright. I'll give myself a little instruction note. I'll just tape it to that one. And then half a cup of the dried rice. Quarter. And 1/2. See, I've got quite a bit left over, as you can see from the of things from what we dried out. And then we have the pre-measured ingredients of the corn and peppers and the beans. And what I'll do is I'll just slide this inside there. And he also calls for salt and pepper to taste. And I usually, in my little cook set, I've got salt and pepper with me, so I'm not going to add that to this. I'll just do that on the spot as we're eating. So anyhow, that was one of our big South Fork meals for lunch, the salsa rice and beans. And if you want to see how it's prepared, please go back to my other videos on lunch on the Tellico River, I believe is the one I had that in. but it would be on the Telecove vacation video set. So, that's that, and thank you for watching. We'll see you out there on the Big South Fork trip coming up in a couple weeks, and until then, we'll see you in the woods.